Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Alrighty, so my grandson and I got a few things done and started this weekend, but I have not watered the garden today, but I wanted to show y'all. This is a squash plant, look at there. There's another one over here, a little bigger. Alright, now I'm doing a little research. The frost could have stunted these plants, or too much water could also. So you never know. It could be my fault. I'm thinking they might need more, and I may be overwatering them is why their leaves are a much lighter green, and so on. So I don't know. But anywho, look at there. That zucchini is about 5 inches. That's not bad. It's coming along. There's another one down here. So, oh my goodness, it's coming along, and I got out and weeded that earlier this afternoon. So I had to wait till later in the evening because all this was full sunlight. Our high today was supposed to be 86. And man, I just couldn't even see my screen in order to be able to do anything. But look how those carrots are doing. Man, they are pretty. They are pretty. The bases aren't very big, so they're still small carrots. But all right, so one more thing we did. I brought all those mortgage lifters out. Now I know you're supposed to harden them off and all that, but I didn't. I just brought them out, put them in these grow bags, and they're actually perking up a little bit. We did this yesterday, so it's been about 24 hours, maybe a day and a half. But so I did water these yesterday after we transplanted them. So all of the mortgage lifters that I've got, we brought out, and of course I moved the rose bush back over here. It's doing beautifully, and that'll help bring the pollinators in here. But they're all moved, so they're all transplanted. Now I think I had 3 grow bags that I needed to plant something in, because them other plants just were not perking up at all from being inside. So I just planted more beefsteak tomatoes in those. I didn't have any more of the cherry tomato seeds. But the plants are actually starting to perk up just a little bit from being brought outside. And I buried them deep. I mean, really, really deep. So I've got these 3, this one, and this one that we actually just put a seed in. And y'all, normally, I do 1 or 2 or 3 seeds. I only put 1 in each hole. We'll see what happens. This was the smallest tomato plant, and of course it was about 4 inches. I buried it deep, so hopefully that'll be fine. And the early peas are doing really, really well. They're starting to climb their cages, so thank goodness for that. This was the next to the smallest tomato plant here. But again, I did bury these plants really deep. So I'm going to get them watered here in a little bit and see if I can't perk this up. I see the honeybees are back over by the cardboard. They like that cardboard being wet. I don't know why. I got rain barrels everywhere with water in them. I got a dish back here at the faucet on the back of the house that I leave with a very slow drip so it stays full of water for the cat. But y'all see how I've been working on the propane tank. It's another thing my grandson and I got done. Sorry about the wind, guys. It's a windy day. I was going to cut grass, but it's way too windy for me to do that. So we had to lift this tank, and what had happened is armadillos had gotten and dug holes up under and made my tank, the blocks, sink. And I took the original blocks and kind of leveled them down into the hole. One of them's not exactly level, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna actually raise it one more layer, 4-inch block higher, because I still can't get under the belly of the tank to sand it with my sander. So I have sanded everywhere that's painted, of course, but that's about the line right there that I haven't sanded on this side. But I have done this end. I've put a couple coats of paint on it, and this side over here I've sanded, and I'm putting the paint on thick, guys. It run a little bit every now and then, but for the most part, you know, I ran out of paint. I only had 2 cans. I went and bought 4 more cans today. So I'm gonna see if I can get my brother-in-law to come over this weekend, because I had to have someone to, I put a block there with a board and lifted tank one end, and my grandson's barely strong enough to move the block. So I'm gonna see if I can get my brother-in-law to come over and just push down on the 2x4 to lift the tank and let me slide another block up under it. It's not perfectly level, but we got it pretty close. Anyway, and I'm gonna try to fix that corner as well when I do that, because that one's not very good. But you see I ran out of paint, but all that's been sanded, so both ends and the sides are ready for paint. I just ran out, and I started sanding on the bottom here. There's a seam right there, if y'all can see it, and you know, a welded seam, and I started sanding there, but I can't get much further under the tank until I raise this tank up a little bit more. And there is enough flex in the lines and stuff for me to raise this tank. So I'm going to raise it another 4 inches and make room for me to be able to sand the belly of the tank, and also get spray paint on it, you know, from, I can't do it if it's too close to the ground. But anyway, this corner here is the one that really was where the armadillo did the most damage. But either way, I'm going to try to get an adult over here to help me lift it so that I can do the block part, because he couldn't lift it. He wasn't big enough and strong enough to push down on the end of the board when I had it like this and, you know, lift it up. He wasn't heavy enough or strong enough to do that, and yet these blocks were very, very hard for him to move. So still working on it, but it's coming along okay. The rust is actually mostly surface rust. The bottom looks worse than the sides did, of course, but what I've hit so far with the sander has come off fairly easy, and I'm gonna leave it like that. So he wanted to learn how to weed eat. I don't know why, but he wanted to learn. So I've got a little battery operated weeder. That's what I use. And he did a little bit of weed eating around. Of course, he could, you know, first time ever doing it, but he wanted to, so I let him. Of course, it took him several hours with his attention deficit stuff. It's hard for him to focus. But so you notice we brought the tractor back over to this side, and I've got to change that light fixture out. It comes on when there's plenty of light, even though I've got it set to the, you know, the setting to where it shouldn't come on until it's pretty much dark. But I've just got to take time and change that one out. And the one on the building right here doesn't come on and off like it's supposed to either. So anywho, we brought the tractor over. We finally got the old boxes I built for rabbits that I never used, took apart, took the hardware cloth off and the hinges and stuff off, and got them thrown on the burn pile. And it's, of course, we're in too big of a drought to burn, but we got them out, cleaned all this up, and made room for the tractor over here. There's still about 6 feet between the tractor and the feed cans, so there's plenty of room for me to, you know, go through and do what I need to do. And hopefully, if time and weather and energy and all that, let me turn my flash on, my light on. So anyway, works out, I may start messing with the tractor. I've got some new parts for the fuel system, so once I do that, he really wants to get it running. So But that's not on the top of my list. I've had those parts for a couple of years. But I did take the battery out when I cut grass last time of the Kubota mower and cleaned the connections and all because it was corroded really bad. And then I jumped it off and cut, and it worked fine. Now, I see a wasp flying right there up under the old grill bench. So there's probably a nest up under that corner. Or she's wanting to make one up under there. I don't know. But anyway, so I went to, yesterday I was going to, go around the edge of the chicken pen and stuff and cut there. And it cranked the first time. Then I turned it right back off and came back 20 minutes later and it would not crank. So I had to use my jump box. So I went ahead and put the charger on it this afternoon to get that battery fully charged. And that way when I do cut grass, the battery's fully charged and I don't have to deal with it. I do have a jump box that works really well, but getting that tractor out from over here means I can park the mower here and have room to get to it and do stuff. And I got the generators and the tiller lined along the building there. So there's a little bit more cleaning up I need to do. There's another generator over here that was given to me I know nothing about. So I still need to clean up a little bit over here, but it's a lot better. And that old table saw, I'd like to build a new frame for it because the plastic frame, stuff that bolts to the legs just is all broke up. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but that thing is old. It's probably 15 years old, and I don't like to leave it outside because wasps will build nests up under it, up in there, and y'all know I can't stand wasps. So, but we got the tractor out from over here, got it put over to this side. Gotta blow some dust off my lens. Anyway, got it moved over here, straightened up all my fuel cans. Now, all those, except for the old 6-gallon boat tank back there that's got gasoline and oil mixture in it for like weed eaters and chainsaws and all that. All those cans are empty. The propane tanks are full. There's 3 over here, and there's 1 over here under that grill that's actually connected to the grill. So I've got 4, regular grill size tanks. And of course, y'all know my grill hooks to that 120-gallon tank up there. So we made a little bit of progress, and I'm pleased with it. I got room to move. So the chickens want scratch. Even though I gave them some about 3 hours ago, I'm going to give them some. Y'all see the old barnyard mix. She's up. She's limping pretty bad. Her foot started bleeding again when I mixed her back in with all the other hens over here. So I don't know if they were picking at her or what. Probably were. And when she nested or rested, the scabs or whatever dried into a feather. She couldn't straighten her leg out. So I had to get her and clean all that up so that it wouldn't stick to her feathers when she nested, and could use her legs. And I did that, and we sprayed the whole legs. I couldn't find a sore, but I sprayed her whole feet, I should say, with that purple medicine. And then I checked her whole leg, the one she limps on the most, and I couldn't find anything wrong with her. But I put her back by herself so she doesn't get picked on while she's not feeling the best. That's probably way too much corn for her. But today's the first day in a couple of days she's actually up and moving around pretty well. So I'm going to give her a little bit. Y'all see I ran an extension cord into the camera that I've got in there. I have not seen a snake, guys. I have tried watching for one. The Rhode Island Reds just aren't laying like they're supposed to. Plain and simple. They're not laying the eggs that every other Rhode Island Red I've ever had laid. They are I'm getting anywhere from, I had that one day with 2, and I had another day a few days ago with 4 out of 11 hens now. But I'm getting 5 or 6 eggs a day most days from over here, when I should be getting, 8 to 9, 10, 11 once in a while. They should all lay almost every day. That's what Rhode Island Reds are known for. But see if y'all can count along with me. Make sure they're all here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the one that I hatched, which you can tell, the one right here by the rooster is one I hatched, and the lighter color one over there is one that I hatched. So there's 9 purebred Rhode Island Reds, and there's 2 Rhode Island Red mix. But I just don't get the eggs out of them. So these are the first ones that will get butchered and put in the freezer. And I've got 12 eggs in the incubator. So the end of this week, y'all will see this on Monday. The end of this week on Friday is the date for me. That's 10 days for me to check the eggs for see if they're fertile. And if they're fertile, I'm going to leave them in the incubator. Hopefully I'll have most of them that are fertile, if Sunny and White Knight were doing their job. And I'll be hatching more babies. Now these will be mixed. Some of them will be White Knight's babies. Some of them will be the Easter Egger babies. Some of them will be Rhode Island Red babies. We'll just have to see what I get, because I don't keep the eggs separate when I take them in the house. Now I know the Easter Eggers, they're all blue, green, and whatever. And like I've said before, they're here lately, they've been my best egg layers. But they lay better when you keep the flocks separate. So these black sex links and the Easter Eggers are all in here. And the black sex links aren't laying very well either. The Easter Eggers are laying, I mean, there's, I forget how many. There's 11 over there. So there's 12 hens in here with Sunny, and then the barnyard mix. And she lays an egg once every few weeks. She's not very old either. So, but she's, having her limping health issues. I'm just not getting a lot. I get, when I had them all separate, I was getting 5 or 6 Easter egg, blue and green eggs pretty much every day. Now I'm getting 2 to 4 a day. But I'm only getting about 3 or 4 black sex link eggs. But the Rhode Island Reds are definitely the worst laying performers as far as that goes now. Let's see what, oh, is that a leaf? Yes, what's left of a leaf or trash or something that hen was picking at. But that's also one that I hatched and raised. That's, of course, White Knight was the daddy. But anyway, so y'all see we've got some stuff done. We have what we call a hobo, a dumpster that they dump once a week out here in the country in South Georgia. And I took them old crates, the 2-liter crates that I had 2 stacks, blue ones and these black ones. I don't have anything to do with them, so the blue ones are in the dumpster. I didn't want to fill my dumpster with trash and not be able to put my actual trash from the house in there. And I'm going to set that out by the road and let them have those this week. And then I'm going to put these in there next week and slowly get rid of that stuff. And you see I've got a bunch of pots, different sizes and things. None of those are cardboard like Japan Ham was telling me I need to do. And I'm going to eventually get some things like that and be able to just take the entire cup and put it in the ground. But so that's the bike I bought the kids, almost a year ago, 6 months ago probably. They hardly ever ride it, even though I've had most of them here this weekend. My oldest grandson stayed the weekend with me. And then Saturday night, there was a church function going on. Well, I should say, it wasn't our church, my church. But there was a function going on for like teenage kids and then adults. And my middle daughter and her husband volunteered to help. So the 2 youngest of the middle daughter came and stayed the afternoon and evening with me and my oldest grandson Saturday night. And then they got here late Saturday night and picked them up and, you know, all of that. So I've had a busy weekend. And I was looking forward to cutting grass today. And the wind has actually dropped dramatically in the last hour. And with that Kubota, I could actually probably cut all the grass before it got dark on me. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sand on that tank a little bit more and probably finish painting what I've already got sanded and what I sand today. And then try to get some things done. But either way, a lot of little stuff got done and completed this weekend, and you know, kind of wore old Pawpaw out, I can tell you that. But all right, I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate you guys following along. I've got to get my basket and go in there and collect the eggs and fill the feeders up, which I filled them all yesterday. So with that hardware cloth on there, the way I've got it, guys, they're going through a third of the feed they were going through. And there's no wasted feed on the ground. So they are not starving. They are getting all the food they need. They're just not able to rake it out of those feeders and waste it. And some of you that use the bucket method with the little plastic thing where they can stick their head in and get feed, they rake it out of there too, because I made 3 of them, bought the little pieces and drilled the hole and bought buckets and all that. You know, it costs you $25, $30 to build one of those things. By the time you buy a bucket and the lid, they're separate, and then buy the little piece to put on there. And they wasted so much feed out of those things. I'm not doing that. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, try to get a little bit more done before the end of the day, and get this video uploaded for you guys for Monday morning. But I'll tell y'all something that I consider good news. That boy that he lives on there's a house, there's a lot next to me that doesn't have a house on it. I tried to buy it, but somebody beat me to it. And then another lot next door on the other side of it, there's a double wide there that's been sold and bought several times in the last several years. But that boy lives there in that Tahoe that's loud, and he comes by and just punches it, running 60, 70 miles an hour up and down the dirt road. Irritated me and a lot of other people. I haven't seen him driving by in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm hoping he moved. Now, I know there's still people living there, but I'm hoping maybe he got old enough and moved out or his vehicle's tore up. Either way, I'm happy about it. I haven't had to listen to that every single day, 3 or 4 times a day. So the weather's beginning to get beautiful. Other than the fact that we do need rain, it's been some very nice weather to get out and do stuff. So thank y'all for following along. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all remember what I've always told you. Jesus Christ loves you. He loves you way more than I do. And I love you, but just not that much. All right, y'all be good. Be prepared.